I am Dwayne Wickham. I'm the Dean of the School of Global Journalism and Communication here at Morgan State University. I want to thank you. The sun came out. Dean Akers and I were being held hostage today at a Dean's Council meeting that started around 10 and didn't end until 2:30. But as we came out, so did the sun. And so we're happy that we have this wonderful weather to be outside to show you the ground and talk about this wonderful undertaking that we're having. Let me just say that when I first arrived at Morgan, now 4.5 years ago, I had several priorities that I thought would connect with students. One, I wanted to recognize academic excellence. And if you travel to the third floor of our building, you will see along the wall there's a Dean's Honor Roll of academic excellence every semester. We recognize students, we provide them with small stipends and a meal. We ask them to bring their parents in, and we have a little conversation with them to encourage them to continue to do well academically here in our school. In October of this year, we will make the first disbursements from our special fund that we created, that was actually created by our Board of Visitors. When I arrived here, we also didn't have any scholarship money. We now have a $100,000 scholarship fund that has just been created, and we're in the process of bringing more scholarships online. But we're very excited about the possibility of giving money out of this fund, not just for academic achievement, but the fund will be used also to encourage students to attend Morgan, so we can give some scholarship money, enticements to bring students here. And we could also meet some of the special needs of students. And you might say $100,000 is not a lot of money, but the donors from our Board of Visitors who gave us this money said that they don't want this to be an endowment. They want us to empty the fund and they will replenish it. So we're very happy about those two steps. Recognition of the academic achievement of our students, some scholarship money, and we're going to build upon that. I'm looking to get it above 7 figures so we can meet some of the special needs of our students. And now we take the next step. And the next step is an effort to recognize those who have come before us, the great alum of our school, and those who support our school. So we're going to have a special recognition in this area. And I'm going to call upon Dean Mary Ann Akers, who is the Dean of the School of Architecture and Planning, to tell you what it is that we're going to do in this space and tell you about her school's special role. The provost always talks about collaboration, and no one collaborates on this campus more than Dr. Akers and I. Dr. Akers.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. This is just gonna be the first of many SAP and S, G, J, and C. So again, thank you for this opportunity. At the School of Architecture and Planning, we believe that our environment, our physical environment affects us. And we also believe that it is through the design, really intentional design of spaces like this, that can be used to commemorate, to memorialize, and to acknowledge people who have contributed not only funds, but that have contributed to making an impact on our lives, particularly on student lives. So Dean Wickham and I decided to go through a process, a competition, and we called it the Walk of Fame competition. And we announced it at the School of Architecture and Planning sometime in November to students who during their break could come up with designs that would again symbolize what global journalism and communication is about, and how to celebrate the people who have contributed. So we asked the students to submit concepts, design concepts, and it was sometime mid-January, I think, that the competition was due. And so we have the winning entries over here. And the next step, oh, by the way, there was also an incentive for students, and that's this. So after today, we then will take the winning entry, whoever team wins, take that team, work with our landscape architect for the campus, Gerard. He with mentors from the Department of Graduate and Built Environment Studies, the landscape architecture program, they'll get together and actually come up with really details on how to construct this. And so from there, hopefully at the end, or maybe sometime in April, May, we will start building, and hopefully students are also going to be involved in the building of this. And so you don't have to be students from SAP. If you want to learn how to build and get your hands, well, I won't say dirty, but get grounded, come join us. We will have a good celebration while we are actually constructing this. So what I would like now is each of the student teams would come up and explain to the audience what inspired you, and just give us very brief description of your concept. Now, to the students, speak in non-design language, okay? So people will understand.
So Ahmed, I think he's running a little late. He just had a daughter in December, so he's a little bit busy. But I'll just describe this concept to you real briefly. When thinking about a design, I really wanted to focus on a person who I thought would be honored in this plan. And so I found someone who I've really felt inspired by. And so inspiration for what I'm calling the global network concept came from Robert C. Maynard. I'm just going to read from this because it's easier for me. Whose numerous achievements as a journalist, editor, and owner of the Oakland Tribune are almost too many to list. He was co-founder of the Institute for Journalism Education, for which minority journalists, which is dedicated to expanding opportunities for minority journalists at the nation's newspapers. It was renamed the Robert C. Maynard Institute of Journalism Education in 1993 following his passing. Most important was his dedication to the community he served. As editor and owner of the Oakland Tribune, he would hold town hall meet the editor meetings with the community. These meetings were crucial opportunities to learn what issues were most important to build ties to the community. His leadership propelled the paper to a Pulitzer Prize of Journalism in 1990. So it was really his influence of community and trying to really reach out as a journalist into the surrounding community that really inspired me. And so how that translated into the design is I was also inspired by global network diagrams. Global network diagrams, where these are diagrams where people try to analyze different connections of how one group or one person interacts with a larger within a larger social system. And so based on that, this is how we came up with sort of these nodes within the design and different areas for people to come and interact with the space and sit and relax and contemplate the people that have come before them in journalism. So the overall purpose was to illustrate how we are all connected in some way or another. The network is comprised of people tied together through community the way it has always been.
Yeah, so I should have mentioned that.
These pavers would be inset with plaques where you would have a name of a person being honored, and then possibly a quote from a famous quote from them.
Hello everyone. This is a project that we worked on. I and Anbar, we formed a group and tackled this project together, and we called it the interface. In moving forward in this project, it was the idea of creating a walk of fame. And so we all of a sudden started Googling what is a walk of fame, and the idea that you're commemorating the successes or the attempts of people. So that was kind of like this impetus that we had in our minds, and thinking of this space as a place where you can interact with these successes or these moments where you're commemorating all the members that form this field of journalism and government itself. And we also wanted to preserve this idea of transparency, where if you walk along that end, you can still freely see all the way down to that path there, and move through this spaces as well. Our first kind of move was to somewhat soften this barrier of this main path here. There's seats there, and it ends very abruptly with this green space here. And the main idea is that we want people to occupy this space and not just see it as just some lawn in front of a building, but a place where you can actually sit and, if anything, have some lunch and enjoy. And we further wanted to make this space special as well as to somewhat have figures, right? The idea of the figure of a man, the figure of a woman, the figure of a journalist, the figure of graduating students, to somewhat see themselves as what they're trying to achieve. There's some like positive affirmation in your mind. You see a silhouette of where you want to be. And you're just like sitting down and enjoying some sun like you are today. And use that opportunity, maybe sitting on this concrete block that would have the names of people who have succeeded in those fields. It could be even videographers or cameramen who, most of the time really go unnoticed, but their sacrifices in the field can be noted in moments like this. And finally, our last move was to look at this wall until that window really is blank, and we saw that as an opportunity to make this space a little bit more relatable, right? We looked at quotes, famous quotes that I know you learn in school, but then also thought of it as another opportunity to commemorate those names as well. So we imagined that space as being these metal panels that are cut through and would have quotes as well, like news is history shot on the way. Moments like those, and very things that could be a bit quirky or could be the names of people as well. And through over time, as information that you want to change or as new names come on, you could add panels or you could take it off. So it's something that would be a bit dynamic as well. So thank you for this moment today.
How you doing, everyone? I'm Chris.
I'm Abby.
So our inspiration for our design today, we named it Vessels of Freedom. I had just picked up the book, the narrative of Frederick Douglass, right at the same time as this competition was announced. And if any of you who don't know, that book is actually a journalistic endeavor. Frederick Douglass had escaped to the North and had become a huge voice in the abolitionist movement, and he was asked by his peers to write his story, and that is how we got the narrative of Frederick Douglass. So I read about that, and I thought we have a Frederick Douglass statue over here on front of Holmes Hall. I figured we could anchor and expand that, trying to join North Campus and South Campus that way. But also with that book helped propel the abolitionist movement all the way to emancipation and the civil rights movement. What we wanted to do was communicate that his endeavor of bringing truth and speaking, learning to read, we want to put that into this building, and we want to help and use him, but also inspire others with journalism.
And the way that we interpreted that in the design was there was a particular passage from the book that really spoke to us, where Frederick Douglass sees the white sails of a ship and interprets that as his freedom. So we wanted to kind of abstract that and bring that here, so students and everyone could interact with those same kinds of passages and movements of freedom. And you want to tell them about that?
Yeah, so right in this space here, we would have we'd have a gravel pathway that would come into a center space that would be kind of enclosed, semi-enclosed space where you could read quietly.
The memorial.
And in the center, you'd have a memorial with a metal statue of a sail, and in the sail, you'd have engraved quotes from Frederick Douglass. That was for Frederick Douglass, but over on that side over there, we'd have planting beds with sails coming out of the planter beds. That would be for the students of the School of Journalism, represented right here.
So each individual student would have their own plaque, and then collectively as a whole, it would create this kind of sail movement that would cast shadows and interact with the play of light, and like be able to create kind of a three-dimensional memorial or contribution to all of these students who have made a big impact in the School of Global Journalism. And that's
That was our design.
our design.
Just to let you know that our students, again, over break, they did go out of their way to do this. And so let's have a round of applause for them. Thank you so much. So the next step, of course, is we're going to actually construct this. And Dean Wickham was just whispering in my ear a few moments ago, although there's a first prize winner, it seems like, there are very good ideas from all of your projects. So we may decide, he'll raise money to try to implement, all these different features. And of course, one thing about Dean Wickham that I was very touched with was he said, whatever we do here, your names are going to be associated with that. So that later on, down the road, the next generation, you can say, I designed that. And that would mean a lot. So thank you again. Okay, let's start with the second prize winners. And there are two. Abby and Chris, stand up by your poster, because we're gonna have picture taking. And then second prize, Ambar and Andrew. And I guess you can guess who the first prize is, Sam and Ahmed. Thank you. Okay, should we have picture taking?
We're going to take some pictures, and while we do...
Can I just say one
Please.
thing?
Yes.
I would just like to say that I'm really appreciative that you actually held a contest for this. I would have done this for no money. It was a lot of fun for me. I think everyone else would agree.
Yeah.
So, it was a great opportunity for us. So, thank you.
Well, you're quite welcome. The committee made the selection, and we're going to talk with the proper authorities on campus about what it takes to initiate the work and complete it in time for our alumni brunch in October.
Oh yeah.
So we want to have this area done. But as I stood watching the presentations, I realized, we'd like to have some plaques on that wall back there. And we do need to do something with that space over there. Maybe the sails will work well there as well. And so we're going to look for a way to incorporate a piece of each of your designs in this. The first place design will be here, and I know there'll be opportunities if I can convince the board of visitors to come up with some money to do some of the other pieces as well. But that wall, it needs help. Thank you very much for that idea. And I've been complaining about that space for a long time, and we can do something there. You guys have been very creative. We thank you so much. Go Morgan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bears.